excited to be able to introduce a new, larger size cart. And this one's pretty well fresh from Santa's workshop there over on the edge of town. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, Garth, it's interesting. How big is big enough? And you know, we bounce around a lot of different things. I think, you know, one of our competitors had a really large cart at the Farm Progress Show, and you know, we think there's a trade-off there. There's a trade-off between compaction. There's a trade-off between the horsepower requirements. And when we talk to our growers, or talk to our grower council that we have, and we say, you know, how big is big enough, or where are we at now? Generally, Garth, the consensus was 800 bushels is where it was at.
It seemed like it was pretty clear that the folks on the grower council that you know, we looked to for feedback, 800 was kind of where they felt they needed to be for the next few years at least.
Absolutely. No, for sure. The great thing about the 9800, it's got all the features we just finished talking about on the other 9 series carts. So it's there, but there's something unique about this one as well, Garth.
Oh yeah. You know, one of the challenges that I see with the competitors out there with the larger carts is they look really ungainly for trying to turn them. And that's something that as we've got bigger and bigger, we still want it to be easy to use. And so some of the things that are going to set this particular model aside from anything else in the market is going to have a shorter wheelbase. So you can see that these axles are kind of an axle forward design. Logically enough, as soon as we shorten the wheelbase, the machine turns a lot nicer.
Absolutely, and I guess to add to that, Clint and the guys at R&D have worked really hard on the front end.
Oh yeah, you know, and that's something to be really excited about. You'll see that we've got 800 rubber across the machine, so there's lots of flotation. The other thing about placing the axles where they are, you get just a superb weight balance, so axle loading over each tire, they've done a really good job. So compaction, like the deeper soil compaction, is really accounted for in this design. And this is a Morris design front end. And one of the things that really excites me about it is that we've designed it so it will turn 7 degrees sharper. So this 9800 machine actually turns in a tighter radius than the 8650. And you know, it's built to be really heavy, so there's some really excellent features in this. But you know, as far as the user experience, this thing's gonna, as much as you're gonna get with an 800 bushel cart, it turns on a dime.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been very impressive. Garth, we've got another great feature on this product that you know, it's been a while coming also. We've got the ICT on this machine. You know, I've probably been one of the more cautious ones in the group as far as the ICT. You know, we've certainly had some dealers call and say, hey, sectional control, I can do it on my sprayer, or guys want to do it on our seeders. And Garth, if you want to pencil it out, and you're a research guy, you can pencil that out all day long from a cost-saving standpoint.
Absolutely, yeah. But it doesn't. It's not much fun to pencil it out if it doesn't work, you know, or if you have problems. So I mean, this is a challenge. You know, when you release something and you're an established company like Morris, you got to make sure it works, and you want to make sure that the user experience. So I really believe in the design that the guys have put together. Basically, we've got a cluster of gears, and there's a hydraulic pencil valve that kind of pushes and cantilevers that one gear out, and then like the benefit of that is your metering roll stays fully charged, and so it's as much of an off and an on, stop and start as it's reading where you are in the field as you're going in. You're still going to have a 5 to 7 second delay to drop the seed into the airstream and carry it out, but you know, I think we've got a real winner for design. Now, actually, the design part, I think, we've been quite delighted with the performance of that.
Yeah, it's bulletproof, really. You know, and for those of you that have had any experience with planters, whether in the corn area for planting corn, it's basically the same idea. When you drop the corn planter to the ground, it engages a sprocket, which engages a drive, so you're metering product. That's exactly what we're doing here. It's as simple as that. Now, the complexity comes in that we need a monitor through GPS that's going to tell that solenoid to kick that hydraulic cylinder in, that you're either going to engage or disengage that sprocket, Garth. And as you said, though, it's on and off. That meter roller is fully charged all the time. We're not worried about slides moving in and out. We're not worried about doing some funky air thing. It's either on or it's off. The only delay you have is when it stops metering, or when it starts, and when that seed gets to the ground. So, you know, we've had it at the Farm Progress Show the last couple of years. We've had some over in Australia. It shows guys like the concept. Our biggest issue's been, when can I get it? When can I get it? And you know, we're going to have it. It's going to be limited because this is some serious technology. When we talk about a sprayer, we're talking about a solenoid and a boom with constant water pressure, okay? If you turn that solenoid on, it's going to start putting more water out and it's going to spray. In this case, the way this one's configured, it's a 9-run system with 4 tanks. So now we've got 36 meter systems that have to turn off and on at the right time. So the last thing I wanted was to get a call from a customer and say, geez, I don't think my sectional control worked very well. I've got some patches where it wasn't turning off and on right. So I'm not trying to scare people. Our world in ag is changing all the time. The technology is changing all the time. This is another step in it, and it's going to be right. It's going to make a lot of sense, but we have to get it right as a company. So we've had 2 great cooperators that have worked with us the last 3 years. We've gone from slides to the sprocket type system, and these guys have hung in there with us, the Russell family from Harris, Saskatchewan, and the Youngworths at Prince Albert that really helped us out. They're very patient, worked with us, and we like the system.
It was a real evolution though, wasn't it, Don? Because we started out with the slide gates, and we weren't too thrilled with that because knowing that a metering shaft probably only turns at 1.5 RPM on canola, you could go a couple hundred feet before that would recharge, so we knew we wanted to abandon that, and the corrosion issues associated with that too. And then we were working with an X20 monitor.
You bet.
So then there was this evolution. We knew the X30 is coming, so we've been working with Topcon on the X30. And so I know from experience working on the 24/7 call line this year, you get a lot of monitor questions. So we really want to be cautious to make sure that our monitor is really bulletproof. So that's why we've been taking a bit more of a cautious approach.
Absolutely. Right on, Garth. So folks, I think that does it for our introduction, Garth. I don't know if we've missed anything. We may have.
Just some minor things. I think we hit all the high points. With this larger frame, we're also going to have 10 primaries now. So probably a minor point, but as machinery gets bigger, we need to have more primaries to feed the larger drill. So that's another minor little change that we've got there. Yeah.
Awesome. So from our perspective, we'd like to thank the audience for their attention.
Absolutely.
You've been great.
No heckling, so that's always good.
Yeah, so that's good.
I know my buddies in R&D were telling me they're going to give me.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Don. On the 9 series? Did you think that up, or did that come from Cam and Stewart? Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Well, I guess the good thing is we're going to have the literature to back ourselves up on this, Don.
Yeah, so it's all ready. Yeah, you bet.
But roughly speaking, these front and back tanks are around 260 and 280 bushels.
Yeah.
And this one in the center is at around 108, 110? I think so.
You're looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm relying on you on that.
But that's roughly where this 9800 is. And basically, if you've got a 4-tank cart, we did some number crunching on this to figure on fill times on commonly planted crops. So essentially, each big tank is going to be about 1/3 of the capacity. And if you put 2 of these smaller tanks on the inside, that's going to be another 1/3. So that's kind of the breakdown. And it's remarkable how well that works for maximizing your acres per tank.
Yeah, you bet. So with the whole 9 series, you know, and if Don and Cam and Stuart are wondering about this, we start with a 2-tank, which is 365 bushels. So that's the 2-tank on the 450. Then we move up to the 450. This is on what we call the smaller frame. And then from the 450, we can actually add a 4th tank to make it 535. And then with the big frame on the 650 tank, the 2-tank model is 445 bushels. The 3-tank model is 550. And then, of course, the 4-tank is the 650. And then from there, we jump up to the 800.
Thanks, folks.